guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to be here today because I am going to be talking to you about hair porosity. So to start off, hair porosity is actually how well your hair is able to absorb and hold on to moisture. In order to know which products you're supposed to be using on your hair, hair porosity is key. You have to know what your hair porosity is or your hair is just going to turn out frizzy. Usually hair porosity would be determined by your genetics. However, it can actually change over time depending on how much you've processed your hair in the past or how damaged it has actually become from processing and using heat tools. So overall, there are 3 different types of hair porosity. There is low, medium, and high. Medium porosity hair is perfect hair. We don't even need to focus on it. Your hair does everything right. It takes in moisture and it doesn't let it all out at the same time. Your hair is absolutely perfect. The 2 main hair porosity types, however, that I personally want to focus on are low and high porosity hair. So to start off, I'll be talking about low porosity hair, which is what I have on my head. Low porosity hair, if you can imagine, has a cuticle that is very shut. That means that it has a really hard time letting moisture into the hair shaft, and that causes the hair to be really dry and brittle. People with low porosity hair actually also focus with a lot of product buildup. When I use the wrong product on my hair or an oil that is too heavy, my hair will actually look really weighed down and greasy or crunchy, and that's just because none of my product is actually going into my hair shaft because it's so closed. The only way that I can get product to go into my hair shaft is if I use heat before to open up the cuticle. Secondly, low porosity hair doesn't take well to color. I'm not sure how much I believe this fact just because I personally have some blonde in my hair right now, and I've had different hair colors in the past, and my hair seems to dye pretty easily. However, that can also be dependent upon what texture of hair that you have, how thin your hair is, blah blah blah. The third thing is that your hair will take a really long time to get wet. When I personally get in the shower and I put my hair under the water, it takes a really long time for my hair to actually get fully saturated. So when I'm in the shower, I have to kind of scrunch my hair in the water and move my hair around so that it actually gets all the water and that I feel like my hair is fully saturated. The opposite end of this is that when you come out of the shower, your hair takes a really long time to dry. This is kind of a toss-up for me just because I have really fine and thin hair, which I don't think takes a very long time to dry. It's kind of a hit or miss. I personally try to let my hair air dry, but I'm also somewhat impatient. So I'll usually use the diffuser, but I have noticed that if I really do let my hair air dry all day and I'm in school or I'm at work, it actually takes a while for my roots to dry. If you have thicker hair than I do, it'll probably take even longer for your hair to dry fully. So some tips on how you can deal with your low porosity hair. Heat is a great way to open up the cuticle. So when you are doing a deep conditioner, it is great to apply heat so that that product can actually go into the hair shaft. As well as when you are taking a shower, I start personally with using very warm water to open up the cuticles, and then I will use my products and let my conditioner sit on my hair for about 5-10 minutes. When I rinse out, however, I will personally use cold water just because it will seal that cuticle and keep all the moisture in that I've been trying to put into the hair in the first place. Next hair porosity that I'm going to talk about is high porosity hair. High porosity hair is the exact opposite of low porosity hair. High porosity is when all of your cuticles are very open and there are a lot of ridges in your hair that you can't see. With high porosity hair, it will take in a lot of water. However, it is really easy for that hair to lose the water as well. Easy in, easy out. High porosity hair is also very common with people that process their hair a lot or have used hot irons and curling irons and all these type of things that have damaged your hair over time, which has caused your hair cuticle to kind of open up. This is also really common for processed hair, like if you bleach it a lot on a regular basis. High porosity hair also has a tendency to tangle very easily. I personally have very tangled hair just because it's curly and I have to be really gentle when I brush it. However, if you have high porosity hair, your hair is probably much more dry than mine will be, even though it will take in a lot of moisture more than my hair will, but it'll also let it out so fast that your hair will become kind of dry and brittle, and it can be really hard to detangle, especially in that, the kitchen is what I call it. On top of this, your hair will dry very quickly. When you hop out of the shower, if your hair has a tendency to dry extremely fast, once you get out and it's hard to put product in, that means that you have high porosity hair. My tip for if you have high porosity hair and your hair dries extremely fast once you hop out of the shower would be to apply your product while your hair is wet after you've taken out all of your conditioner. When you apply your stuff when it is wet, your hair will be drying once you get out and that product will already be on there and you won't have to worry about it. So that's a huge thing that you can actually do. High porosity hair also has a tendency for frizz since it doesn't maintain a lot of the moisture, even though it takes in a lot. Frizzy hair is something that everybody hates. I absolutely hate frizzy hair, but it's kind of just, you deal with it when you have curly hair. I mean, what can you do? Last thing is that if you have high porosity hair, lotions and milks probably just won't cut it for you. You're probably gonna have to use an array of products to actually keep your hair maintained, especially things like lotions and creams and gels. For my hair, however, I only have to use 2 products because I have low porosity hair, and that's usually a leave-in conditioner as well as a styling cream. Some tips, like I said, for high porosity hair would be to apply your product in the shower while it is wet. A leave-in conditioner, a cream, a lotion, a gel, and everything like that would be great. On top of that, coconut oil will actually work for your hair, where my hair does not like coconut oil because it is too thick. Coconut oil will be your savior if you have high porosity hair. High porosity hair is also better off if you just let it air dry. Since it dries so quickly, if you were to use a diffuser or try to blow dry it, it will actually increase the frizz that you will put on your head, especially if you have curls. Don't do it. How will you figure out what your hair porosity is? I had no idea how to figure it out until I actually got super involved in wanting to go on a natural hair journey, and once I figured it out, it was a blessing, trust me. So there are 3 tests that you can do to actually figure out what your hair porosity is, and I'm gonna walk you through them all. The first test would be the water test. What you will do is you will take a clear, drinking water glass and fill it with room temperature water. The goal of this is that you take a hair strand that's broken off or anything like that, or pull a piece of hair and you put it in this glass of water. Your hair floats on the top of the water, that means that you have low porosity hair. If you kind of see a beading around the hair as if it's just not taking any moisture in, you definitely have low porosity hair. If your hair floats to the middle of the glass, that means that you have medium porosity hair, which is perfect, so we're not even gonna get into it. Lastly, if your hair floats all the way to the bottom of the glass, you have high porosity hair. That means that your hair has taken in all of the moisture that it is able to take in, which causes it to float all the way to the bottom. I personally am not sure if I believe this test. I've had friends that have done it once before, and it's kind of a toss-up. I've heard that there's factors like if your hair has oil in it, if your hair is freshly clean, what temperature the water is, that kind of, can mess it up. It's kind of for you guys to decide. It might be something that you personally have to give it a try in order to see if it works for you, because I don't know, the friends that I've had that have done it, their hair always floats on the top, which is kind of weird. So what would be great is if you guys are to try this hair porosity stuff, and you try the water test, comment below and let me know what your results were, because I'm curious to see if it works for everybody. The second test that a lot of people will do is called the bumps and ridges test. What you do is you take a piece of hair that is on your head. I know you can't see my hair, but what you do is you take your thumb and your index finger and you just move your hair up and down the shaft. I don't know if you can hear my hair, but it's literally squeaking. My hair is squeaking because my cuticles are so shut that there's nothing for my finger and my thumb, to get caught on. If you feel slight bumps and ridges, like barely anything, that means that you have medium porosity hair. However, if you feel a lot of bumps and ridges when you go up and down, that means that you have high porosity hair. The third and final test that you guys can do at home is to get a spray bottle with nothing in it, room temperature water, and make sure that your hair is really dry. When you spray your hair with that water bottle, if the water sticks on the top of your hair and kind of has a beading effect on your hair, that means that you have low porosity hair because it's not taking in that water. If your hair absorbs all that water really quickly, that means that you have high porosity hair. That's another great test that you can do at home and a great way for you to figure out what type of hair porosity that you have. A lot of people requested this video, and I hope that everything that I talked about helped you guys out to figure out what your hair porosity is. If you figure out any other tests online or hear of anything else, please comment below or message me, and I would love to try it for myself. Make sure that you let me know what your results are. Feel free to share what your hair porosity type is, and then maybe we can have kind of a community that talks about what products work best for low porosity hair and high porosity hair. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you follow me on my Instagram and Snapchat account. You can also feel free to add me on Facebook. Make sure that you click that subscribe button. Make sure you like it and leave some comments below. I have some really exciting videos for you guys coming up here in the next couple of months, and I'm so excited for it. So I will see you guys next week. Bye!